Hello, great people. Nigeria's former Minister of Youth and Sport, Solomon Dalung, has shared his perspective about the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Dalung was speaking on a program hosted by Seun Okinbaloye called Michael Podcast. On that particular program, Dalung shared his view about the performance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is called below average, and he spoke about the dynamics of the 2027 presidential election, focusing on the chances of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He also spoke about the 2023 presidential election dynamics, about how Tinubu emerged, focusing on Nasir El-Rufai, how Tinubu lured El-Rufai to his side and end up humiliating him. You will recall that El-Rufai was really not a big fan of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because in a moment, and before I play you the video of Solomon Dalung, because I have two videos for you, I'll first play you a video of Nasir El-Rufai when he said that Lagos people, if they want to sack Bola Ahmed Tinubu as godfather, they should come and learn from him because he is good at uprooting godfathers. When we watch the video, then we'll watch that of Solomon Dalung. First, let us quickly watch the video of Nasir El-Rufai before we come back for more discussion. Let's watch.
We're in the same party. We get along very well, as far as I know.
Do you want him retired? He's the godfather of Lagos.
I don't know if he's the godfather of Lagos. It's up to him to say that. What I know for sure is that we have retired godfathers in Kaduna. And I have told those that asked me the question that there are 6 million registered voters in Lagos and only 1 million voted in the last election. So there are 5 million people that you can bring into the electoral playground and you can defeat anyone if you work hard. But it's hard work, it's 4 years. That's what I said. Now, if anyone feels offended by that, that's his business or her business.
So you want Lagos to follow your template for retirement of godfather?
I have no recommendations to Lagos, okay? I am the governor of Kaduna State. I know Kaduna politics pretty well. And I play my role in my party towards the overall success of the party. I have no recommendations for anyone. I'm just saying that if I'm asked a question and I give an answer, anyone that feels offended by the answer, this is all business. I have no apologies. I don't apologize for my views. My views are thought out and I put them there, and I don't have to explain anything to anyone. This is a democracy. In a democratic space, there must be room for people to express their views. You can disagree, you can abuse me if you don't like my views, but that's it.
There you have it. That's the video of Nasir El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State. Now, I got this video while searching for Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presence in Kaduna State when he visited the state, and El-Rufai made a statement that he will retire after his tenure as governor. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu begged him that no, you cannot retire. I still need this your brilliance, in quote, this your intelligence, in quote, that I will need it in my administration if I eventually emerge. And you will recall that during that election period, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was trying to align himself strongly with Nasir El-Rufai, and not just Nasir El-Rufai, other northern governors. At the end of the day, Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged. Nasir El-Rufai was nominated as minister, but then his nomination was turned down at the Senate based on security reports. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So there's no way the armed forces of Nigeria, whether the police, whether the military, whether the DSS, will act against the wish of the president. So that means that if Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants Nasir El-Rufai to be minister, he would have eventually become the minister, especially with the kind of Senate that we have. The Senate led by Godswill Akpabio, which in all ramifications appears to be a rubber stamp Senate. And I've said that Akpabio needs to learn how to operate without being a puppet. But the discussion about Akpabio is that of another day. Let us hear from Solomon Dalung about how Tinubu humiliated El-Rufai before we come back to analyze all the issues surrounding it. Let's hear from the former Minister of Youth and Sport, Solomon Dalung. Let's hear it.
El-Rufai, I expected him to have been smarter politically than what happened to him. When he concluded his tenure, towards the end of his tenure, he made up his mind not to hold any public office. But Tinubu went to Kaduna at an economic summit and lured him. And El-Rufai knew that he is smarter than almost every other person. He knew himself well. He knew even his intrigues. He knew his controversial disposition. So he couldn't have given into that because he was lured into so that he can be humiliated the way he did. And if I were in his shoes, even if today even Angel Gabriel is accompanying Tinubu to pacify me, to serve in his government, I will not. You know why? If I dare make that mistake, they will nominate me, and then when they go to the National Assembly, they will raise security reports and declare me a terrorist. And that will be over. So El-Rufai made the greatest respect for the mistake which intelligent people shouldn't have done. He should have remained with his decision. And today, he could have had more strength to be able to fight this government.
We understand that he's playing some roles and there's some alignment and alliance with the SDP. Are you aware?
Yeah. But he's somebody they should watch out for because he has the capacity to mobilize people. And having learned his lesson, he will rather, if Atiku is not careful, El-Rufai will emerge as a political godfather for the North in 2027. Because he's not going to talk for himself, but he will galvanize that support to make sure that, he gets his pound of flesh from this government.
So is it true that there is a storm brewing? There is a coming together of some heavyweight politicians trying to form an alliance and form a very strong opposition?
There are different concentrics of mobilization against this government. The poor people themselves are one, mobilizing. The youth who are now thinking of, generational shift, not even geopolitical shift, power shift. They are also mobilizing. The politicians who, with their own interests, they're not even different. Most of Nigerian political elites are not different from these people. Because if you see what happened during Konkoso's daughter's wedding in Kano, you will know that they are deceiving people. Because all of them congregated there. There was nothing like Christian Muslim. Even there were Islamic clerics dining and wining together. That's the political elite. So they are now trying to come up with something again, like what happened in 2015, to now eliminate this government, and we may even run the risks. So I am of the candid opinion that the young people in this country should learn from what has happened in Senegal, what has happened in Ghana, in other countries, and let them talk to themselves.
Do you think Tinubu might be in trouble politically in 2027?
He's already in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, Tinubu is already in trouble.
How do you mean?
Tinubu's trouble is on now because if you conduct a political survey genuinely, you will discover that Tinubu's rating will be embarrassing.
Really?
There you have it. Do you believe that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu intentionally humiliated Nasir El-Rufai? I look forward to hearing from you in the comment section, but I will tell you my perspective. I believe that if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants El-Rufai to be a minister, he would be a minister. And let us look at this. For somebody that is elected to now want to occupy an appointed position, then it now becomes impossible. Which one is more important? Which one is more delicate? An elected position that you are presenting this person before the people. So if a governor has served 2 terms and want to be a minister, an appointed position, and you are now saying it is not possible, then we need to ask ourselves that when he contested for governor, where are those security reports? Does it mean that those security reports did not exist? He contested for governor first time. He contested and reportedly won the second term in office, and no security report emerged. Could it be that it is the body language of the president that determined the security report, or El-Rufai has always been allegedly a bad person, but the Buhari presidency used its mighty wings to protect Nasir El-Rufai? It's either one of both, but one can only have a final say if one is able to read the security report, which I don't have access to. But based on the information on public domain, I believe that El-Rufai sincerely is not good in the Tinubu government. I think it's not a good choice for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because immediately El-Rufai left office, you will remember the video, the audio recording of El-Rufai whereby he was sharing extremist views about how he was able to install a Muslim ticket in Kaduna. And at the end of the day, if you look at it, since El-Rufai left office as governor, we've not heard much killings from southern Kaduna. So is there a connection between El-Rufai's apparent alleged extremism and the repeated massacre in southern Kaduna? Because the audio tape went viral at that time. So if that which is of public knowledge that is circulating in the public domain, if it is anything to go by, I personally believe that El-Rufai is not a good addition to the team of Bola Ahmed Tinubu because we need people that are truly national in their thinking. We need people that are truly national in their attitude, outlook, and orientation. So if you have these shallow views whereby you see people that are not of your religion as less important people, whereby you have these alleged extremist views, then you are not good for a position in Nigeria because there are so many religions in Nigeria and there are so many ethnic groups in Nigeria. So I have always advocated that if you want to occupy national position, you must be national in thinking, national in conduct, national in orientation, and national in your views and how you relate with people. For me, I think El-Rufai is too sectional based on that extremist tape that circulated through the media at that point in time. Now, let us look at something. Solomon Dalung said that El-Rufai will get his pound of flesh. Can we take this statement as a joke? He said he will get his pound of flesh from Tinubu for humiliating him, that El-Rufai is a good mobilizer and he would mobilize people and he will make sure he gets his pound of flesh from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, I have some news for El-Rufai. When it comes to power, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not somebody that you can easily decimate. You can say Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a good performer. I've said it before. In terms of performance, I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu is overrated. He's not a good performer. And some of the glory that they are giving him in Lagos does not belong to him. Lagos is naturally strategic to be developed. So you cannot give the glory of the colonial masters, the glory of past Nigerian leaders, Lagos being the former capital territory of Nigeria. You cannot give their glory. You cannot give the glory of Fashola, the glory of Ambode, the glory of Sanwo-Olu, and give it to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They may keep quiet for the sake of political correctness. It's fine. But that doesn't mean that in terms of performance, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a superman. And if his performance is anything to go by, in the last over 1.5 years, you know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a super performer. But then, in terms of power, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not somebody that you can easily wrestle power from. So, as much as El-Rufai will want to take his pound of flesh, trust me, it will be a very difficult fight for him. And the statement of Solomon Dalung that El-Rufai will take his pound of flesh, can we take it for granted? No, because you will recall this El-Rufai made a statement some time ago that killing Fulani is a debt. That no matter how long it takes, you will definitely pay back. If you are somebody that follows the news back to back, you understand the time that El-Rufai made that statement that killing Fulani is a debt. That no matter how long it takes, you will definitely pay back. So it means that from the orientation of El-Rufai, he's not somebody that easily lets go. He's somebody that he will always come back to get his pound of flesh. And that's why Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to always watch his back, because truly El-Rufai may be doing his permutation against him. You saw his photo when he visited SDP office, and Solomon Dalung himself affirmed in that interview that if Atiku is not careful, that El-Rufai may position himself to emerge as the political superstar or poster boy of the North. Now, he also says that that definitely there will be plans to eliminate Tinubu government. Like I said earlier, that won't be possible. And if it will be possible, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will give you a good fight. The only avenue that you can have to eliminate the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is during the 2027 election. And you can expect a good fight from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he spoke about trouble for Tinubu in 2027. Do I think there's trouble for Tinubu in 2027? Yes. Because if Tinubu's performance continues like this, and if performance is anything to go by, Tinubu will have a very difficult time convincing Nigerians in 2027 that he's truly the man that can put food on their table. He's truly the man that can take Nigeria from where it is to where it ought to be. Now, one thing we need to take note of is Solomon Dalung's comment about Kwankwaso's daughter's wedding, that both Christian and Muslim were jubilating together. They were dancing, singing, and rejoicing. They were drinking wine. It means that regardless of ethnicity, regardless of religion, Nigerian elites are united. Nigerian elites usually chart a common front. That makes me to want to ask you that you are poor, that you are not as rich as this elite, you are not as connected, you are not as influential as them. What is now your problem? That you want to kill your neighbor, that you won't like to see your neighbor because your neighbor shares a different political perspective other than the one you share. The question is, what is your problem? If Atiku could relate with Bola Ahmed Tinubu could relate with Peter Obi, but you want to kill your neighbor, what is your problem? When will you receive sense to know that your neighbor is the only thing that you have in the day of trouble? You don't have access to Tinubu, you don't have access to Atiku, you don't have access to Peter Obi. Always try not to hate people because of their religious views or their religious affiliation. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omoshola. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science, and this is where we relax to talk about politics and happenings in the polity. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course, I have great, interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.